Hey guys, it's Brad here. Just done a bit of work on a client side and wanted to make a video showing off some new features. One in particular, it lets us define components inside a website. Previously we had to create components in an app, which was a bit annoying sometimes. So I'm using Ksync today to do my editing, which I'll just do a pull now from the website. And the nice thing about Ksync is it means you can keep your code in source control. We're using GitHub, so I'm just going to wait for that to sync locally. So these are all changes that another developer has made on the server, and just have a quick look at the site so you know what we're working on. So this is so we've got a little profile page here, just all the usual components. This is for a sales incentive program for retailers. And this is the new component that I'm going to build today, and this is just in this particular incentive program we want people to be able to choose whether they're in a team program or an individual. So I've had another developer has done the cut up, so it's all static, and that's just been built here in direct in the template. Again, just a static code. And what I want to do is create a component, and I'm just going to copy and paste that into it, and then add some goodies to make it dynamic. Okay, now this has just hit a conflict. So this is where Ksync has found that the settings file is changed locally and also on the server, so it's asking me which one to use. I also use the remote file, and I'll put 20 seconds in here, so if it hits any more it just uses them as well. There we go, that's all done. Now before I make any changes, I'm going to do a push to get. I'm using NetBeans here as my IDE, but obviously there's a lot of IDEs around that support get, and I'm just going to say sync from CI. So I'm developing on, I'll move that so you can see it. And I'll push that, there it is. Okay, push. Oh, don't need that. Okay, so the file that we were looking at before is this one. So that is the profile.html file, which is under theme, theme apps user, I think. Yep, there it is. Okay, great. Okay, and that's the little piece of code that we want to move into a component. Alright, so the way we define components is in your website you can have this webinf folder, special name, it's hidden from view, it can't be downloaded through the web. And inside that you have the usual controllers XML file, which is including this app.js. And this is where we can define components, and as you can see there's already a few. So I'm going to pop one in here. I'm just going to do a big old copy and paste. This is going to be called participant change program. Alright, so HTML, well, the component is compatible with HTML resources. That's the name of the app, and I'm just going to say allow participants to select program. That'll do. Okay, so just like all components, there are a few files that we need to provide. Okay, this is in Go Healthy app, that's there, /components. And what I might just do is I'll just copy something that's already there. So this one, the KPI progress component, and rename it to be that. Naming convention is just the component ID followed by the word component. So that's the one, and rename that one. So this, oops, spelled that wrong. Alright, so that's the JS file, which controls it in the editor, but we're not going to do any editor settings yet, so that's empty. I'll just delete that and put a big to-do in, and then we also want a settings file, and that also, we want that to have the same name, and just followed by the word settings, and that is empty as well. Okay, so that gives us our 3 files, and this one it just has to do in it. Alright, great. Now what I'm just going to quickly show you is, okay, so I've been making these changes happily locally, but of course I'm not running sync, so they're not getting uploaded. So there we go, I'll run ksync. Now you can put your password in as a command line argument, so you don't have to type it in every time. Obviously it's not the best thing in the world if you're making a how-to video though. Alright, so that's run, and what you can do is just to verify that that has actually synced, is go to the file manager. We'll go to WebInfo, I guess, there it is, and we'll see, there we go, there's our change there, and I'm sure those component files are there as well. Alright, so we want to see our change here, so let's go and edit our profile page. So I'm going to keep that one there for the time being, so I've got something to refer to, and I'm just going to copy one of these and change its name to be that. I better change this ID. That could cause some weirdness if I don't, but basically all I'm doing is sticking in the component ID there. Great. Now if we switch over, you'll see it's done a push, and if I now refresh here, okay, there's my to-do statement. So now it's going to be very easy. All I need to do is copy that div into my component. Okay, now I'm going to refresh my browser and I should see the same thing twice. Ta-da! Okay, alright, now I can get rid of the one I don't need anymore, which is this one with the static code in it. And then I should be back to just having one of them. Awesome. Okay. So now what I will need to do is add a little bit of template code. So we're going to choose the correct initially selected value, and then I'm going to integrate with the Forms plugin so that when the user clicks change, it's going to do an AJAX request to the server, and then I'll need to build a controller to do something with that. Alright. We don't need that text editor open anymore. Let's jump over here. Alright. We don't need that anymore, and we'll need that later. Okay, here we go. So let's just drop a little bit of debug code in. Let's say, okay, have we got a user object? Yes, we do. It's a profile. Alright. So, the way we know if they're in a team program or not is whether they have a particular org type on their membership. So, alright, so the first thing I want to do is convert my profile to a profile bean, which is easier to work with. It's got just properties and methods on it that are a bit easier to work with. And then I also want to take that, and once I've got my profile bean, I'm going to get the primary membership, and from that find the organization, and then I'm going to check if that organization has that organization type. So in fact what I'll do is let's just dump that out so we can see the organization that it's getting. Alright, there we go. Okay. So what do we get here? Alright, so the user I'm currently logged in with has a primary membership to Go Health, and that's probably because it's my administrator user, which it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do, what will I do here? Actually, you know what? I think I can probably just get rid of that membership because I'm using a super user account anyway, and I don't think I need that. Sales claim admin. Now, this is something to think about when you're setting up a program, is the group structure, whether you're going to allow multiple primary groups or not. It's definitely easier to manage if you only have a single primary membership. Alright, so there we go. So I'm just a store manager in store 1. Let's see what I get now. And there we go. Okay, store 1, and it's telling me false. What does that false mean? So what I'm saying here is, does the organization associated with my primary membership have an org type of store team? And currently it says no. So if I go here, here's store 1, and I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to add store team program. Alright, so this is just a marker to say this store is in the team program. So now I get a true. Awesome. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is save that into a variable. I say is team equals that, and then down here we can just do something like actually we've got our we could put an if statement in there, but we've got a formatter method which I think is easier. Now you can look at the documentation page. I'm just going to cheat a little bit. So if true, so yeah, I think we can use if true. Alright, let's close a few things. Alright, if true, and so if that is true, I'm going to say checked, otherwise nothing. Oh, actually, you know what I need to do is I also want this one down here to be checked. I wonder if we have an if false. Is there an if? No, we don't have an if false. So that's okay. We'll just do not that. There we go. Alright. Will it work? Okay, that didn't quite work. Where did I go wrong? I think he doesn't like that actually. Well, let's just see that, but doesn't give me an error. Woohoo! Okay, it's come up with checked. Alright. Okay, so what I've done is, to keep things simple, I've just created a new variable called isIndividual, which is not isTeam, and then down here I've just used that if true individual isTeam, and I've also added a value to each radio button, store individual, store team, which corresponds to the names of the organization types that we've defined. So now let's just see if that is displaying the current state correctly. Here we go. So it currently says individual program, and that's correct. Now if I remove that, now I've actually got two program. What I really want is I've got two tags for organizations, and I want the store to have one or the other, but if it doesn't have either, it should default to individual, which it's doing. Now if I add the team program and refresh, you can see it's changed to team, and just to confirm, if I get rid of that and add it to the individual program, it should be the same as if there was no tag at all, which it is. Great. Alright, now I've got a bit of debug code here I should get rid of. Always forgetting to get rid of that stuff, so I'll do it now before I forget. There we go, and that should be looking pretty tidy. Ta-da, there it is. Okie dokie. So now we just need this to actually do something. Now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hidden input in here. Input type equals hidden, and value equals the org ID, and actually that'll come from there. Okay, let's make sure that has done what I expect it to do. Value still 1. Yep, I just didn't give it a name. Oh, whoops, I gave it 2 values. Okay, name. There we go. And there we go, name, org ID, value store 1. Great. So now what I can do is add a little bit of code to submit that. I'm just going to drop in a script tag. Probably should put this in a JavaScript file, but this will do for now. Alright, a little bit of jQuery initializer. And we've got this switch program class, so I can go that dot forms, and on success we need a callback function, and I'm just going to do message.info saved. Actually, I should check the response object. Yeah, response.status else show an error. Okay. Alright, now action. We do need an action on this thing, and that'll be the current page, I guess. Maybe not actually. I think we'll need a new, so change program, and then we'll create that in our controller mappings. Great, so let's see what happens now. So when I submit this, we should see it in the network tab. So I've chosen team, I press save. I got a 404, which is expected. And it looks like it's trying to submit the password form as well. Okay, I think that class selector must have matched something else. Okay, but the main thing is we need to create this. Okay. Well, actually, I think that'll do for now. I'll finish off making that controller mapping in part 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.